do it.
Hi, Juan Stars and fellow YouTubians. I hope you're enjoying your May long weekend. I know yesterday was gorgeous. Today, it's not snowing, so it's still okay. I have the beautiful Lorene with me today from it's your soul circle. What is it called again?
The
Goddess
Lair.
Lair. Yeah.
Yes.
Lorene from Goddess Lair and so many other wonderful things you do. So if you would like to share with us a little bit about who you are and what you do, I'm sure everyone would love to hear about it.
See, I always get stuck with that. Being able to say I'm a goddess covers a lot of things. I've been so blessed to have done so many full circles in my life. I'm very highly attention deficit, which created so much trauma and stuff when I was younger, and yet I can focus anything. So all the things that I grew up with that I found traumatic and judged and brought me through these amazing synchronicity of events where I've got, oh my God, I have like a bazillion healing modalities.
A bazillion doesn't even cover it.
It's just amazing how hard, I worked to prove that I was enough, or to actually prove that I was right and had to know everything through and through, to where magically gotten where it doesn't matter anymore.
That gives me chills because that's just it, right? When you're growing up, you're put in a position, well, the majority of us are put in a position where you don't feel good enough and you feel weird, and no matter what you do, you're still that weirdo. So you work so hard on yourself, or you go the other route where you give up. Yeah. And it's not necessary. I mean, once you get to where you are, you realize, it's contradicting because obviously you needed that for your journey.
Yeah, it was
but
necessary.
At the same time, it's unnecessary to make someone feel that way because everyone is equal and we're all loved and we should all be accepted for who we are. We shouldn't have to go through so much trauma to get to who we are. We should be allowed to be who we are without experiencing that. That's what I mean. Yeah, and hi Ryan, hi Diana, thanks for joining. I see we have 6 viewers. If you just want to say hi, wave your hand so that I can acknowledge you. If we're not actual friends, then I don't see you when you log in. Facebook has that kind of block there, so I can't harass people. Facebook knows me well.
Yeah. There's just there's so many things that are only necessary till they're not necessary.
Oh, I know.
I'm glad for all of them. Like trauma, you wouldn't think. All the things going on now, you wouldn't think are necessary. Like for people to be afraid and to be going through, have all their stuff come up and feel threatened and all of that. And it's necessary until it's
not necessary, like you said.
Anymore.
And what it boils down to is something that we've been told our whole lives. Or again, the majority of us have. I feel everyone probably has been told this, but until you heal it, you're going to go through it. You're going to keep repeating that same lesson, relationship after relationship, lifetime after lifetime. You're just going to keep being brought back to the same, same story, different page.
Yep.
Until you can actually work through it. And wow, what a phenomenal feeling when you actually do resolve something. How many times have you thought, okay, this is it, I've learned my lesson, we're done, only to repeat the same thing, right?
I've repeated enough to go, I don't think we're ever done.
But then, when you do finally get to that point and you finally learn that lesson, I mean, for me, I know. Hi, Lori. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining us. I know when I'm healed from something.
It's such a beautiful place to be, and then to even be able to be in situations that we feel are ugly and find the beauty in them, right? And find the healing in them and find the alchemy in them. And find it's a different way to go.
It is. And it is, I mean, we were just talking about that before we came on, about the journey and, the 10 days in the dark sitting on your couch crying, or the 30 days laying in bed not eating, or whatever it is, whatever the journey is. And when you're going through it, it sucks.
Yeah.
until it doesn't suck anymore and you're like,
Yeah.
wow. And then there's that light that it's incredible. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the journey, you know, the hero's journey that we probably chose to come here to have. Not that there's anything wrong with Earth, but we chose to come to the tough school. And some of us are probably same personalities and doodling on our life charts before we come. Like, woo.
You weren't listening and you're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, pretty sure. Signed up for all of it.
Fell asleep in class.
It feels really strongly to me that everything, the simple point to all of it is learning how to be ourselves. Remembering, like, how to be ourselves.
And that bond, that, for me, this has been so much less about money and more about what can I do for you? So, okay, I'm planting peas, you're planting carrots. Let's swap. There's no monetary exchange there. It's, okay, so you do card readings and I do pendulum readings. Let's swap. We offer each other so many different things. And the money-based society for me is, it's still existent. I mean, it obviously, but it's so much less important.
There's so much difference between money and value. Money actually has no.
Exactly.
I come from financial services, which even in it I knew was a crock because like they gave me a financial calculator. It still comes down to spiritual, emotional needs with money, and then I flipped to the total other side and done ridiculous things I never would have imagined to unravel myself with money. But you know, there's so many of us are programmed that everything's a commodity, not an energy.
And material. Who has more? Who has the nicer car? Who has the nicer house? Who wears the nicer clothes? Who has the nicer jewelry? Who has this? Who has this? Who has this?
And there's no value there.
No. It's about your gifts. And even with that, what I love is no two people have the same gifts. We have similar gifts, and I say this all the time. If I can't help someone, I know someone that can. And if I don't, if I send someone to you and you can't, there's no resonation there, like you know somebody that you can refer them to. And it's, absolutely. Down that whole line. And that's what it's about. It's about community. It's about togetherness. It's not who has more. It's, if I don't have what you're looking for, I can find somebody that does.
And what if people don't do what they're meant to do? Like, do you ever get people, I want to learn how to do what you do? And you're just like I'm thinking, you don't want to go through that 40 years of bullshit. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Like,
and
how about learning what you're meant to do?
Or unlearning everything so that you can be who you are. Because I've been there. I've looked at someone and been in awe, and it's like, how do you do that? I wish I was you. Yeah. Well, what's wrong with being me? Like, how does that go? Like, when you're a kid and then you grow up and there's something about unlearn everything you've learned and be you, or like, how long did it take you to unlearn what you've learned and be true to who you are? And it's so unfortunate that so many people never get to that point.
Well, it's so hammered in that we're not enough, right? That we're not enough.
And that, you go to school and you all learn the same way. And if you can't learn that way, well, you're stupid.
Well, it puts you into holes too of measurements, and there is no measurement of it's all kind of it's creating a false construct. Well, it's like the matrix that keeps us small. It is.
And I mean, my kids, I'm going to toot my own horn because I'm cool. And
I agree.
My kids were fortunate enough to have a weirdo mom that when they would do something weird, I would never say, you can't do that. I would be like, ooh, tell me more, do more. Like, oh, that's so cool. Whereas, growing up, you have friends or parents that say, you can't do that. That's not normal. Don't.
See, my kid made me a weirdo. And it was out of sheer love and fear. I was highly psychic, intuitive, empathic as a child, and then all of the crap that goes along with that, the beliefs and the fear of coming out, and shutting it all down and going into that corporate, I'm going to be successful, and I really, really shut it down. But my son had it, like,
beautiful,
magnified. So when it started waking up in him, I had to face it within myself, and then I had to face it, the world I was in, the mental world. That all of the answers there were, oh, can you feel it? I could just feel they were so damaging.
And how incredible, because I know mine was rearing its head, but it was still locked up until my daughter did the whole tap on the couch and said, Mom, we need to talk. And I got tingles, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, oh my God, what's going on? And then she said, the next words out of her mouth were, don't think I'm crazy. And in that second, I knew.
Right.
And that, it woke the tingles from head to toe, everything woke up, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
And
awesome.
the fight that we didn't have for ourselves, or that, whatever it was, that strength that we didn't have for ourselves, I had for my son, because it was like, now I really have to learn. I have to mentor this. I have to make this
embrace
safe.
it. You have to accept it, because you're not going to tell your child no. When I saw it in Callista, I was like, oh, let's go online. You need to join groups. You need to find like-minded people.
Everything to make
you need to shine your light.
Yes.
And then my son, who, if he ever watched this, which he doesn't, so he's never going to know, he won't admit it. He'll only talk about it if he's drinking. And then that's it.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Or if he needs something, he'll be like, Mom, I need your hocus pocus, your witchy stuff. Like, you need to do something for me. And I'm like, oh, so when you need me, then you believe in it.
Yeah.
But when you don't need me, I'm just a weirdo. And he's like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi, Tammy. Thanks for joining us.
Most of my family's pretty good. But we have I wrote a blog about it one time, the pavers. I had the weird aunt that I always just adored, right? But she was into all of these different things. And I mean, she had me do Reiki with her. Nobody had even heard of it. That was almost 30 years ago. So she kind of, those people brave enough to show their weirdness.
The ones that didn't get burned at the stake, that
Yes.
somehow slipped through
And yeah, and we don't, it's so
awesome.
blessed. My son came home one time heartbroken because he'd seen a spirit of someone that passed and went to tell them, and they freaked. And he come home really upset. And he's like, but why?
No.
But why? Like, why would they take that as fearful or something? Because to him it was something natural and normal and beautiful. And I was like, buddy, yeah.
But that's
not everybody
beautiful.
had
those
people brave enough to be weird. So
I love that. I love that it's embraced, and I have to say, there are so many more people embracing it now than before, and so many children that are allowed to show who they truly are, which is phenomenal. I mean, there's still so many that can't and don't, but there's so many more that can and do.
Well, that's why we can help. If we just go out and act weird and be weird and open, then it's opening for other people. Right?
Open season 2, though. I mean,
yeah. It's you have to have courage to do that.
I'm getting mine. I'm really coming out of my protective shell a lot lately.
I'm still very hesitant. I don't want to ever to hurt somebody or bring up fear, or whatever, if I can't be that healer as well. So I'm really tough in retreats and everything, the ability of being able to be very truthful, even if it's ugly, being raw, being real. As long as I'm part of that, I can help to alchemize it, right? And
see, and I'm stepping outside of that now, where I'm saying, and I've done it a few times, where it's been, this is what I feel and what I think, and if you have an issue with that, if it's on Facebook, then please, maybe you should reconsider our friendship.
Yeah.
And even face to face, I haven't come out completely, but it's slowly coming to the point of where it's, if this is who I am and what I am, and if you don't like it, that's your choice. And I won't walk out of your life because I accept you for who you are. But if you can't accept me for who I am, then by all means.
And that takes courage. It takes a lot of love. That's one thing that lately I've wondered, like, why didn't you, call this person? Why didn't you speak the truth when? And it was really hard for me to face that comes from love. I was like, how come with these people and in retreats and stuff, you can be so like whew,
When you're with
no fear.
like-minded,
Like,
there's,
there's
no
no
fear.
fear.
Yeah.
And it comes down to love, like love for yourself, but love for the other people. And you know, I need to work on that unconditional love for mankind, because I swing from, oh, it's so beautiful and wonderful, to that fear, you know, when you've been hurt, those triggers.
You're right, Tammy. All the best people are crazy, so embrace it and let it show. And, you know, we're related, so we come by it honestly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was thinking today, and it was the first time I've noticed, like I said, I'm on this journey, and puzzle pieces, every day I get another piece to the puzzle on my journey to realize who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. And once I can share that with I can't wait, because it's phenomenal. But one realization I came to today was that sometimes we meet people or we hear of people that we haven't met, and we look up to them and we're like, and we idolize them, for a lack of a better word, or we're intimidated by them or envious. And I realized today that because I've met people, I'm spitting everywhere. I need to stop speaking moistly.
You're touching my face.
I've realized that idolizing someone else is a lack of self-confidence, because I've met some of the people that I idolize only to discover that they're exactly like me. They have flaws. They're human. We're all the same.
Yeah.
So idolizing something in someone else is a lack of self-confidence. It's something that you're lacking in yourself, because I don't idolize anyone. I love everyone equally, and we are all the same. Your gifts are different than mine, and I'm grateful for that, because I don't need my gifts. I have those, but there's a good chance that I need something that you offer. It's
like spirit orchestrates to have things come back into like natural.
Yes.
It's like with our retreats we have, and it comes up a lot. Oh my God, I'd never be able to do what you do. But when you see that the newest, rawest, like babbling, snot bubbling person that comes in, and it's their light, that incredible courage that actually sends ripple, that allows other people to open up. We've had the different roles, like that. It's just all this judgment of what we should be versus
the I'm nobody, I don't even know why I'm here.
That is the biggest bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how you are, if you're willing to show up and be you, it will affect other people, because that's when spirit is orchestrating through you.
Absolutely. And it's not by accident that people meet each other or come across one another. I mean, I have yet to meet someone that hasn't prevented me or encouraged me to do something. That the person that you stop to, that talks to you, that you think does nothing in the long run, just prevented you from getting hit by a car because you were going to cross the street and that person ran a red light. It's the whole.
What about who are the most important people that have changed, that have had the deepest impacts on our lives too? And were they coming from a role, a whatever, or was it just because of who they were? And the things that, strength and value and love and nurturance, and, that's a whole different value system.
Well, and going from that, like, who are the people that had the most influence? Sit in front of a mirror and talk to yourself and look deep within your eyes. Like, how difficult and raw is that?
That was really tough to do when I first started.
Yes, it was. It's not so much now.
It's not now.
I can give myself the wink and the gun now. Back then.
Yeah.
Back then, I couldn't even look in my own eyes. Like, I just could not even look at myself.
It's probably a whole lot of because we don't know who we are.
Yeah.
Or we're not willing to even see who we are. If you've been told that it's fundamentally bad or evil or wrong. Which, I mean, spiritually gifted people, that happens to a lot. And I kind of happen to believe that we're all that, like intuitive.
Oh, we are.
I think everyone's psychic to certain degrees. So
many people just write it off though, and they ignore it. And again, it goes back to, I don't want to be weird. I don't want to be the weird kid at school. Like, I know how the weird kid gets picked on.
Yeah.
Or in adult life, I don't, how often let's say back in the day, did you see someone walking down the street and assume they were on drugs because they were happy and dancing and talking to themselves?
Yeah.
Now I see someone like that and I'm like, who are they talking to? What's going on? Can I see? Like, it's...
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
in shamanic terms, and we've worked with people too that are mentally ill, schizophrenic,
Yes.
and we can see. It's not in their head. It's all around us. They just happen to be tapped in and don't have any of those skills and tools to be able to deal with it.
I have a journalism background. That's what I went to school for. And so many times I have thought about going into an old age home and just sitting down with anyone in there and saying, tell me your story.
Oh, yes. How fascinating.
Tell me your story. Because how many stories die with them that they don't get to share because they were crazy?
We're losing volumes of history
Mm-hmm.
by, and that's a thing in society too, of diminishing the value of our older generations.
Think
And
of the
that
book you could
severs-
write.
Oh.
Like,
Right? Yeah. I mean, society and the separateness and stuff severs all of that wisdom.
they just need someone to listen, someone that is actually interested to just sit there and listen to them share their story, because I have goosebumps just talking about it, because I can just imagine the stories that people would tell.
Yeah.
Because I know what stories I could tell.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, got a few doozies.
Yep.
How are you enjoying your tea?
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not even a tea drinker. I'm such a good coffee drinker, but this is good.
It's from Hayward Eclectic, as usual. Melissa provides me with all my tea. This is Blooming Lotus. It's a soft floral green tea. It's one package per pot. I'm not even sure what's in it. I just know it's soft floral green tea, and it's yummy. So I'll put her information in the bottom. Anyone that's looking for tea can get in touch with her.
Oh, yeah. See, I
Oh,
can't
hi,
read
Tina.
that at all.
Why don't I? Right now I wouldn't be allowed in there. But you know what? It's probably something I will do once stuff is lifted, because I think it would be phenomenal. Maybe, yeah. I've always wanted to write a book.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But how cool to have all those possibilities. Like, why
Yeah.
not? I have so many possibilities. I often don't get anything done.
Oh, so do I. And I mean, going on this journey that I'm going on right now and doing my Soul Quest next weekend is going to be phenomenal. And like I said with that, things are finally making sense. You go through, you question so many things and you're like, so, okay, so I have this gift, I have this gift, I have this gift, but I don't understand how they all play together, and I don't want to do that, but I have the gift. And now it's like, ooh, that puzzle piece goes here, and oh, this one goes here. And it's like, that one goes here. And I'm getting it. And I actually have a very, very, very clear picture of what.
When you get the vision. I believe, like, the universe has such a broader, more massive, more powerful vision than we could ever even fathom. So it motivates us, even sometimes by trickery, in little steps of the way to get those puzzle pieces. Until we can get and then the vision, because I've had this with Regenesis. I was like, oh my God, it was like it, and my brain exploded.
Yeah.
With the vision, and then I looked and I went, and I just was so overwhelmed.
Yes.
When you're so overwhelmed with gratitude, and I began to weep, and my brain kept going to all the things that I needed to do, and I'm like, no, it's built. Like
I know.
it's
And
complete.
have you noticed that when you go back, you're like, okay, so this is the first puzzle piece. And then it's like, well, wait, no, this is. And you just keep going back and back and back and back. And it's like, so this journey, when you sign that contract up there and come down here to play the role of whatever your role is, it's like, it all makes sense why this happened and why I had to stub my toe on that rock and swear and have someone say don't, the whole thing. And then, I don't know. I just know that, well, Brian, how he's a mouthpiece. I told him that my puzzle pieces were finally getting put together, and he was like, yeah, but is it a 1,000-piece puzzle? And I was like, maybe, but I've got this little corner. Like and it's just
And
making
who's
so
to say
much
that they're
sense.
not meant to connect, right? With
Oh, but
other
they
people's
are.
puzzles, right?
Oh, mine
And then
is
the
for
whole-
sure.
all
Mine is.
years.
What I'm doing is I won't be doing it on my own. There's no way I can do my portion of it by myself. But this whole vision, this whole thing that is happening, and it's happening as we speak. I felt it for the first time in my life. We always know that past, present, future all exist at the same time. But for the first time in this existence that I can remember, I was sitting there and I turned to Brian and I said, I can feel me doing this. I'm doing this right now. My vision that I have is taking place this exact moment over here. And it was such an, not overwhelming, but that heat, that beauty, that I know I'm on the right path, that excitement, it was just so beautiful.
Natural system.
Yeah, and there's nothing will stop me. I can go on record. Nothing will stop me. I know what I'm doing, and I know that I need other people to do their part to make sure this happens. But I can finally say I know what I'm doing, and that's phenomenal.
And what does that actually take to get there? Because people ask me, like, how can you feel so...
I don't know. I think everyone's journey is different. It's just that knowing that
it's like you look back at so all the authority, all the years that I was judging, that I was fucking around and failing and wasn't doing anything, wasn't doing the right thing, and wasn't fitting
you
into
were
the right
doing
boxes,
the right thing, like that.
It was playing out, and the rest of it is that ego.
You know what? We should have read the small print in the contract. You never read the small print. Somebody says, oh, it'll be fun, and you sign your name.
I read the small print. I do. I usually do. And yet,
and then
I was doodling.
You were not paying attention that day.
No, I was doodling, for sure.
So, but I mean, like and now knowing where I'm going and knowing what it is that I'm going, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but those pieces are falling into place, and all of those are the puzzle pieces. The questions that I had before, why do I need to do pendulum readings? Well, that plays into my bigger picture. It all goes together now. And the reason why I took trilotherapy, but I've never been fully behind it to be a trilotherapist. Well, it's because that plays a part in what I'm doing. It all comes together.
And for those that, their path is different, any one of those things, I always beat myself up because, well, what are you? And I never say I'm a shaman. I've got training in 3 different things. I never say that I'm a psychic. I never say that, because just those things and how people perceive them doesn't click. But connecting, having all of them.
All those modalities make you unique. And, soul path has been done. The soul journey has been done. Trilotherapy has been done. Reiki has been done. Energy readings have been done. What I'm doing has not been done. This is mine. And
but so are all of those things.
Yeah.
When you take other people's modalities.
And you create your own.
Somebody had a download. They were connected. They were channeling. They had a download. And, even sometimes in processing and labeling and printing and putting to English their download, they've taken it away. Like you can't even directly transfer when it's spirits.
And it's no different than religion. You take what you want from religion. You don't call yourself a Christian, but you take certain attributes of the Christian religion and you put that in your life. You don't call yourself Jewish, but you can take aspects of that. And you're who you are, but you don't follow any of those religions. That's fine. It's the same with politics. You don't follow all political leaders, but you can take little pieces from each one and say, well, I think this is good and I think this is good. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I am taking from my learnings and creating my own thing. And it's like,
it's a different world.
It is.
Right? Versus doing got everything in this consumer material world, right, where everything's a commodity in exchange, and it's about manipulation and working in exchange. In creation world, it's about creating and flowing, and to meet for people. Maybe we're the ones making the outside of the puzzle, where
Maybe.
everybody's can, like, you know, fit it in there.
That could very well be. I mean, because it's happening. There are words, but we're running out of time, and there aren't enough words. Well, there are enough words. There isn't enough time, and there aren't enough people, because this isn't something I just want to talk about. This is something that we need to sit down and create, and I'm almost there. I'm almost ready to call my meeting. So, like, it's
Everything's there, foundation.
yeah, it is. It's the time for me. I mean, we each all have a different time, and it's divine timing for each and every one of us. And my divine timing is coming up very soon. Like, the switch has flicked. Like, it's on. And the download, I mean, I download all the time. But it's so different now. It's that confidence, that knowing that it's not ego. There's no ego whatsoever now, whereas before, to say I'm doing this, I would be like, ooh, but am I doing this? Whereas now it's, I'm doing this, and you're with me or you're not. And if you're not, that's your journey, not mine. But this is my journey, and if you choose to support it, welcome aboard.
That's when it becomes the will of people called God, when it becomes the spiritual will versus the human will, or the will of the will of our shadows, even how we create stuff.
And what I have noticed is, if I think about something, that it's thinking is so fear-based. If I feel into something, just breathe into it and feel into it. The fear is gone, and it's like, let's do this. And
Thank God.
I know. And then sometimes I'll be like, okay, just let me think about it. And my body's like, think? What does your brain have to do with any of this?
Well, and we create that. We create from the fears.
Yeah.
But it's like the whole, thank God, the resonance of the heart is 5,000 times, because we create from the fears, from the shadow, from the unconscious, from all the things you want to hide. We're creating it all the time, but from the mind. And the mind does not have the power of the heart, thank God. So even those moments, which I could even tell you, our heart retreat is booked, and it's open, and the woman said she was going to do it, and we don't have the limitations because we got created and separated it. The heart retreat for the men and women.
That's awesome.
For the third weekend in June, which then when I went and looked at it, just happens to be solstice. So how, because I was like, this isn't working, and then she's like, boom, okay, this will work, that happened, and then to go solstice. So the time where we go into our ceremonies of integration is, on solstice.
Hi, Leah. Hi, Ada. Thanks for joining us. And Tammy, you can leave it for their families. Yeah, I really could do that. They might learn what they've missed out on just by talking. Yeah, and I would learn so much and understand so much more and be able to share that with people outside of their families. Because, I mean, the stories that they would have, well, just thinking about it, it sends chills up and down my spine.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many untold stories out there that need to be told.
They need to become important again, because that is wisdom.
And they need to be told in a safe space. And I can provide a safe space for anyone. It doesn't matter if I believe in what they're sharing or not. I have zero judgment for anyone. We all do what we do because that's what we do.
And what we're meant to do. Yes.
Yeah. And it's exciting. I'm so excited. And it's phenomenal, because I saw a psychic, a world-renowned psychic, when I was 18, who, when she sat me down, she held my hand, pulled out a box of Kleenex and said, oh, you're not going to believe what I have to tell you, but you have a journey ahead of you. Which, for me, was extremely exciting, because she told me what I needed someone to say, because no one else was going to tell me what she said. And I'm 45 right now, and she said it would all start unraveling in my mid-40s, and she said on my 46th birthday, which is 4 months, is it 4 months to the day? It's 4 months to the day.
Wow.
She said the big bang it's everything is going to unfold itself. So
I'm really, because I've seen you, yes. I've seen some amazing stuff happen in the ether around you. I'm really excited for it.
So am I. Like, I am super excited, and I'm thinking that may be when I'm ready to unleash. So
whatever it is, I'm excited for it.
I'll have to have like an amazing gathering on my birthday this year. And because it's something, I'm super excited for it.
Yes, me too.
And I've been waiting, and I can remember being like 25 and being like, I have to wait till I'm 46? Like, really?
But can you imagine? There's no way that we could have held these energies. Even like I look at 10 years ago when we talked about that. Last week, I wouldn't have been able to hold the energies that are here today because they are ramping up so hard and fast. I would have been ripped apart.
I'm evolving every day, and that's what
Yeah.
I have a mentor right now because of my soul purpose and my soul journey. And I tell her that every day because I have homework that I have to do, and I have to do write-ups, and I send them to her on Tuesdays, and we have our meetings on Thursdays. And then when we're talking, she'll say, okay, can you please explain this? And I'm like, well, I'm not there anymore. I don't feel that way now. I'm like, I'm evolving and putting pieces of my puzzle together at an existential, like, it's so quick. It's happening so quickly. Like, I've caught myself in conversations with people saying something and then being like, no,
that's not true.
That's not true. It's this. And whereas a year ago, 2 years ago, I would kind of quiver and hide and be like, oh no, they think I'm a liar because I said this, but I don't feel that way anymore. So now how do I say I changed my mind? Whereas now it's like, yeah, I felt that way 5 minutes ago. I realize it's only been 5 minutes, but now it's like this.
But all those things still are true.
Yeah.
Depending on where people are. And this isn't, I'm not even talking to progression. It's where they are. The rules change.
Yeah.
Like we do 4 very specific things in retreats, and the rules are different.
Yeah.
They're absolutely, the spiritual rules. The universal rules are absolutely different in each of those. If you're dealing with the heart, if you're dealing with the mind, the brain, if you're dealing with the spirit, right? And when it comes to integrating, those rules are absolutely totally different. And what's true in one area can be true in the other, but it's flipped absolutely reverse.
Well, and
so you can't not fight. If somebody doesn't want to feel you or go through the process on a soul journey, it's like, you can't even.
Well, and that's, I didn't share my question. I'm going to share it right now. Yeah. Crap. I don't know how. Lynn, where are you? You share my, create my open live question.
I'm just pretending I can read that.
I don't want to open that. Create my poll. Oh, there it is. Publish it. There. What was I going to say now? Oh, and that's where trilotherapy came in for me because, so many people are headstrong, heart-centered, and it brings the soul to the forefront and helps you, communicate.
Alignment.
So
communication, connection, it's
it worked. It's perfect.
Absolutely necessary. But then if you look, when you look at mystic schools and you look at shamanic and you look at, right, and it's all it's all the same.
It's all the same thing. It's
fundamental process.
Well, you and I do the exact same thing, just differently, and you resonate with someone that I don't resonate with. Like some people are afraid of me. I don't know why.
Well, a lot of people are afraid of me.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's whoever you resonate with.
It's the same principle as looking in the mirror and how frightening that is when you don't think that you're acceptable or lovable, or you don't even know who you are, because.
Or when you're afraid of who you are, and
you
don't want someone else seeing who you are.
And someone looks at you and you know that you can see them.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining. When that fear sets in, because I've looked in the mirror and been afraid of who I saw because I didn't understand who I saw.
Yeah.
And, how many times have you looked in the mirror and thought, okay, so I'm dark. It's not always light that you see there. Sometimes it's dark. But
In those beginning stages, though, like people judge everything as dark or incorrect. They're judging it from a different judgment.
Yep.
And I'll promise you that although we can see through you, we can see your darkest stuff, we probably find some of it humorous. Your messiness, your tweaking it can be humorous because we see that spark.
And
we see that spark.
Because you don't understand it, that light comes across as being dark a lot of the time. It's so much easier to be dark than light. It's so much easier to be angry than love, right? It's
well, and the light is what's usually been targeted or attacked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I wanted to put this on at the very beginning. God. See, it gets so organic and so heated, and I mean, it's already 40 minutes in. We have to say goodbye because we're already 40 minutes in. But I could go on and on and on and on and on.
Oh, you and I.
And on.
Right?
And on.
And with our group, yes. I mean, in our groups too, we get together and have sleepovers. Sometimes we'll literally talk about the wildest things for like 24 hours.
You're right. You can't have the light without the dark. They do go hand in hand. It's our authentic selves. Hi, Sherry. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's absolutely true. And so many people, we have to carry on. Our people have spoken.
Okay.
So many people think that if you're dark, you can't be light, or if you're light, you can't be dark. And I mean, if you're being authentic, you've got both. And a little bit of crazy thrown in there too.
Well,
so
and in all the judgment and in my feel, like energetically, the way I feel it, a lot of people think that the light is the acceptable, the not being inflammatory, right? It's a whole different thing. Where in that case, in a lot of the love and light movements, the love and light isn't love and light. It's judgment. It's suppression. It is, it's ego. It's force and domination. Like, oh, I need to love you. In itself it's so, and often the dark, the anger, the fear, like all of those things are natural. They're part of spirit. Anger is,
and you have to face
passion,
them, right? Like,
right?
oh yeah.
And grief comes from love and activates into something else. And that can be so upside down.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said anger turns into passion, because my entire life, whenever anyone ever has said, why are you so angry? I'm like, I'm not angry, I'm passionate.
Yes.
I can love just as deeply as I can yell.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why love? And it's like, this is the passion you are evoking. I'm not angry, I am passionate. Anger comes from sitting on it and not sharing it.
And suppressing.
Let it out.
Suppressing anger.
Don't suppress your love. Don't suppress your anger. Learn to deal with them.
They're all necessary. They're all beautiful.
Oh.
And I mean, anger, especially like the raw anger.
Exactly, Chris. Yeah.
In my always comes from a place of powerlessness somewhere, and it's what's actually needed to bring you out of the lower shit.
That's just
shame,
it.
Fear,
like
guilt, and
love comes from empowerment. Fear comes from lack of, I don't want to say power, but self-confidence, lack of your inability to express yourself. So you get, and I've been there when I didn't know what I want. I've smashed things. I've been there, and then you cry. And I mean, you smash your favorite cup and then you cry because now you just have to go buy another one. You're not hurting anyone but yourself. Like it's
typically.
Well, you do hurt those around you, but what I mean is when you're angry like that, like you're hurting yourself. So,
very
Giddy.
Toxic.
Chris is open to come for tea at Clarity. I'm so excited.
Woohoo!
Yeah. It's just awesome. I feel awesome. I know that this hasn't been a beautiful journey for everyone, but speaking for myself, these last few months have been exactly what I needed. It's been a beautiful journey for me.
And it can be. The longer, like when you can get through it. Once you're through it, it's beautiful. And on the other side, everything, like I see it in you too, everything that I came in, all of those gifts were developed by the trauma and the deep pain and wounds and everything that I had is what honed the gifts, because without them,
like we said earlier, it's unfortunate that that's what we have to go through to get back to who we are. But I mean, those are the joys of being human. Those are the joys of riding this rock in your meat sack.
Yep.
Right? So
Yep.
that,
and maybe there's people that come in and they're just them and they can be them. It's great. But apparently, you know, like you and I, maybe we're a little just more stubborn.
I'm not stubborn. Brian is obviously not still watching.
Right.
I miss you too, Chris. Maybe Brian and I will have to take a trip out to Clarity. It's nice to be able to get out and socialize again and do fun things.
I've been socializing just carefully. Like, I don't want to cause fear for anyone. There's people that, you know, my mom's compromised. I'm not going to socialize with her.
Yeah.
I'm not going to socialize anyone with fear. But
Yep.
With responsible adults that have done, you know, that have done the research, that know the safety, that take precautions, that are responsible for themselves and others. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
awesome.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else you want to share? Any last little tidbit? Anything you want to share about any upcoming events that you're putting on?
You know, I don't even know what. Well, we do have the Heart Retreat. There's men's and women's. Women's has been going for 10 years and so powerful and so simple. And all that is a full out, really intense, in-depth weekend for each person there to realize what their authentic power and energies are. We have a men's going on at the same time, which is profound. We've only had this will be the third.
Mm-hmm.
So incredibly deep. They're not together, but they are happening at the same times, and the ceremonies will be together. So I mean, see, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
So no triggers, no anything, but the energetic shifts that's going to be anchored from that, just men witnessing women in their highest power, and women witnessing men in their highest power. Because so many times we trigger, like we can't even we're all busy disempowering each other out of fear. So at least like to anchor that's going to be phenomenal.
Well, we can put that link in the comments as well. And Brian is watching. He's just biting his tongue. Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. No, he was doing something else. He wasn't right there on the keyboard.
Yeah. So anything else going on?
There's just so much, like the regenesis that I'm seeing happening. That's like the puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
Is we created this whole platform of having everything, like all of the needs and the, you know, the artists and the scientists and the doctors and all the resources. And it's all happening and playing out. So if anybody connects with any of that, that just whole knowing, you can find me on Facebook or look up the Goddesses there.
We'll put all that information in the comments so people can find you here as well. And then for me, I just have all of this going on, which is awesome. And I can't wait to actually write my manual or whatever it is that I have to write, because it needs to be documented. I have to do up my patent. I have to do what needs to be done. And when I can share, when I get to the point of being able to share, I can't wait. I'm super, super excited. And then I have my wandware creations where I make my jewelry and stuff. I'm still doing that, but I want to do I have a Facebook page that sucks because I'm not technically inclined.
You can just feel you're not connected. Like it's not flowing.
I know.
Like, I have this Facebook page.
It's not inviting.
Don't even force it.
And
it's not gonna work.
I want to do a web page. I want to incorporate Tea with Universe and my wandware creation, but I'm just not tech savvy, and computers and stuff don't like me. So I touch them and they shut down. So I'm working on that. However, I feel it's because I don't have all my ducks in a row yet. So the universe has been saying, you can't do this because you don't know what you're doing yet. Then there's that, I have something else, a different kind of, I don't want to say jewelry line coming out, but I have a different jewelry intention coming out that has never been done. So that's going to come out really, really soon. And I have Tea with Universe again. for the summer, and who knows, maybe going into the fall, if it goes really well on Tuesdays at 7 in the summer, then maybe I'll just continue doing that. So if anyone watching wants to be a guest on Tea with the Universe, you can message me on here, or you can get in touch with me at teawiththeuniverse@gmail.com. And then I have the weekly wand. I'm not sure if, I know there's some markets that are opening up soon, but the ones that I have paid for and am a part of, I haven't heard from them yet, so I don't know if they're going through or not. So I don't really have a lot of news. Lynn will be doing her live reading on Thursday, the third Thursday of the month, which I think is next Thursday. And I do them on the first Thursday of the month, 11 a.m. I think that's it. But you know what? I always say I think that's it. Then I log off and I'm like, I forgot to say. So,
of course.
But I think that's it for me. And we'll post everything in the links. Thanks for tuning in. Because you could be doing anything today, and you chose to tune in. So that makes me feel, I'm appreciative, and I feel blessed and fortunate to have people watching us. And thank you for joining me today.
I got to come visit you and see how to do a Facebook. I didn't actually see it because I can't actually see the screen, but in theory, I've learned how to do a Facebook Live.
Yeah. So thank you for joining me, Lorene, and thank you everybody else for joining me. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time.
Blessings.